Good evening. I am calling the Wayne Westland Community Schools School Board meeting to order at 5:01 p.m. Thank you everyone for being here. I'll address that part. Well, we have a couple of board members that are running late, but I want to be respectful of everyone's time. We know this is going to be a long evening, so we want to get started at our scheduled time. And so with that, I will ask for everyone to stand for the pledge, please. Dr. Weaver, will you please lead us in the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Mr. Cox, or Trustee Cox, will you please call roll?
Mr. Ambrose.
Present.
Ms. Abney Mitchell.
Present.
Dr. Weaver.
Present.
Ms. Hines.
Excused.
Cox is present. Mr. Roshan is absent. Ms. May.
Present.
Present. We have a quorum.
Thank you. Next on our agenda is adjournment to a closed session. During this time, the board will adjourn to a closed session pursuant to 8F to review and consider the contents of an application for employment or appointment to a public office according to the Open Meetings Act. Before I take a motion for that, I would like to ask Mr. Severi to please step to the podium to explain what we are voting to go into closed session for, what this evening will look like. Thank you and welcome, Mr. Severi.
Thank you very much. Glad to be here. So when we go into closed session, per the Open Meetings Act, what we can do is, because the candidates who have applied have requested that their applications remain confidential, that permits us to go to closed session where we will share information on all of the applicants and share application materials with you as well. But it's informational only, so there won't be any deliberation whatsoever in closed session. We won't be talking about the relative merits, what we like about candidates, what we don't, any of that type of dialogue. So it's informational. We'll be sharing a lot of information, what we know about the applicants. You're going to be free to ask questions for clarification. You'll have time to go through the application materials as well once we kind of walk you through some things. And we'll take as much time as you may need. When all board members are ready to come back out, that's when we'll come back out in the open session. And ready, in this case, means you have reviewed the applications, you've heard about the candidates, and you're ready to come back into open session. And at that point, say who it is that you would like to interview. And the way we do that is we do that individually. We're going to ask each one of you as an individual to say, here's who I have interest in interviewing. We'll go around the table. I'll tally that and let you know how many have selected each of those candidates. And what we typically do then is we look for someone to make a motion that includes all of the candidates who 4 or more of the board members have expressed interest in. And once that motion is on the table and seconded, there could be additional discussion. The example I'll give is, suppose there was a candidate where 3 of you were interested, so they didn't make the cut, but someone on the board feels really strongly that that person should be included. During that discussion period, you can try to lobby your board colleagues to amend the motion to include that candidate, with the caveat that you've got to be super careful that you don't give specific information that violates that candidate's confidentiality, because at that point, we're going to be talking about them by letter designation. Each of the candidates you'll see on a spreadsheet we'll give you has a letter next to their name, and so when we're discussing them in open session, when you're talking about who it is you'd like to interview, it's going to be by letter designation initially only. So it might be one of you say, I would like to interview candidates A, B, C, X, Y, and Z. We'll see where they fall. Once you have a successful motion, once the motion passes, at that point we will read aloud the names of the individuals who you have selected to interview and their current position. All other applicants at that point should remain confidential. No one should know that they have even applied unless they have shared that with others. So do you have any questions about the process that we're following in closed session?
I do have just one little follow-up question. So you said you would tally. Should I be tallying as well, or you're going to give me that tally so we can say, like, hey, these were the ones that had 4 or more?
If you're okay with it, what I'll simply do is come right back up and I'll read that aloud to you.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Sure.
Let the record reflect Mr. Roshan arrived at 5:06.
Thank you. And then we had another piece that we needed to talk about,
Yeah,
out-of-state candidates.
Yes, what we can't do either in closed session is going to then bleed into other topics. So this, we think, is important that we get some clarity on before we go into closed session. As you consider candidates from out of state who have applied and consider whether you may like to invite them to interview, the question would be, are you, what's common with boards, I'll put it this way, is that if an out-of-state candidate needs to travel here for the interview, that the board would cover travel expenses, basic flight and hotel coverage. And we could have them work with your business office. You know, often districts will work with them so that it's nothing extravagant, doesn't need to be, just to cover basic expenses to get them here and back home. So I think it's important before you review the applications and make any determination that you make a determination as to whether or not you're willing to do so. We would advise that you do. You made a point to advertise nationally. I think it did pay dividends. And at this point, you would hate to deter an out-of-state candidate simply by virtue of not being willing to help with those travel expenses.
Questions, thoughts, opening up the floor for the discussion. This is not something that we have to vote on, but just so that we make a decision, so we know before we start going through applications, where we sit with this. So everyone's good with that? Yeah,
I have a question.
absolutely.
So you said that we would stay in closed session until all the board members feel like they went through all the candidates, right?
Yep, until the last one of you who's still reviewing materials, and during which time you can ask additional questions for clarification, but until every single one of you says, I'm ready. I know who I'd like to acknowledge that I've read their materials and I would like to invite them to interview. When you're ready to come out into the open and say that by letter, and when everybody is, then that's when we come back into open session.
So we don't have no timetable, how long that would take, because, you know, most of our audience probably just got off work and probably want to go get a bite to eat or something.
We don't. And I've done this many, many times. It's ranged from maybe an hour to my personal record was 3.5 hours in closed session. I don't anticipate this will take quite that long. Typically, what's not uncommon is it can take up to a couple of hours.
Okay.
Any questions related to any of the information that John shared? No? All right, so now I'm looking for a motion for us to move into closed session.
So moved.
Support.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. It is, what is it, 5:00. Looking for a motion?
Support.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Awesome. So first of all, I'd just like to say thank you to everyone for waiting so patiently for us to come out of closed session. And at this point, we move to item 5 of our agenda, selection of superintendent candidates to interview. And at this point, I'll turn it back over to Mr. Severi.
All right, so as we discussed before going into closed session, at this point, I know what you're ready to do. And we'll ask you to do it one at a time, is by letter designation, indicate which of the, I can share this publicly at this point, which of the 36 applicants you received, you are interested in inviting in for first-round interviews.
All right.
Would you like me to handle that part, or are you gonna handle that?
Oh, I got it. Unless you want to do it. Would you like to go first?
Sure.
Go
A,
ahead.
B, C, G.
One second. A, B, C, and G. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll just go around. Dr. Weaver?
A, B, G, and K.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Roshan?
C, E, F, and H.
C, E, F, H. Got it.
Thank you. Mr. Ambrose?
A, C, D, and G.
A, C, D, G. Okay.
Thank you. Mrs. Abney Mitchell?
A, C, and D.
A, C, and D.
And it is I. So A, C, E.
A, C, E. Okay, let me just, I'll repeat back to you which candidates receive support. So candidate A, 5 of you indicated support. Candidate B, 2. Candidate C, 5. Candidate D, 2. E, 2. F, 1. G, 3. H, 1. K, 1. So it's quite a mix. The only two that were for 4 or more of you indicated support, interest, were candidates A and C, which I would say then, it's an interesting outcome, and it would lead me to say that you could certainly consider including candidates. Candidate G, for example, received the support of 3 members, 3 of the 6 of you. Might be worthwhile to consider adding candidate G to that motion. And then you had 3 others that received 2 votes. I shouldn't say votes. 2 of you indicated interest, support, candidate B, D, and E. So certainly I want to make a motion that includes candidates A and C. I would suggest, given the split, the divide, that you would include candidate G. And then you can certainly consider doing the same, but it's up to you for B, D, and/or E. That's your call. Remember, there's no minimum or maximum.
So at this point, I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm waiting on you.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna say, so at this point, I'm looking for a motion to be made.
I'd
Yes.
like to make a motion to,
Oh, go ahead.
I'd
Well, a
like
lot
to
of us,
make
and
a
then you say
motion
something.
to interview candidates A through G.
A through G?
Yes.
Second.
A through G.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. You want to interview A, B, C, D, E, F, and G?
Yes.
Oh, no, I'm gonna withdraw my second. That's not what I thought you said.
Does anyone else want to second that motion?
I'll second that motion.
Discussion?
I
Okay.
think we need to give ourselves a little bit of range here to really choose wisely. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Cox, will you please call roll?
Dr. Weaver?
Yes.
Cox is a no. Ambrose?
Yes.
Roshan?
Yes.
Ebony Mitchell?
No.
Miss May?
No.
Motion fails.
Thank you. Is there another motion?
I'd like to make a motion
Thank you.
for A, C, G. That's my motion.
Support for that motion?
I can support your motion if we could add.
I'm sorry?
If I can add to your motion, I will support it. If I can
Well,
add.
motion's been made, it's been
Okay.
seconded, that's gotta be decided.
Okay.
Yeah. It hasn't been seconded yet. Can I second a motion?
You just
Mr.
did.
President? All right, I'll second.
Absolutely.
All right. Discussion on A, C, and G?
I just think we're limiting ourselves with
Yes.
3 candidates.
Madam President, I would say, I would like to have 6 candidates, because we've allotted time for 6 candidates, and just to give us a nice range to choose through these candidates, because these are some really good candidates. So instead of having 3 or 4 candidates, let's max out and try the 6, just so everyone can get that the information that we have on those 6 candidates.
Okay. So then you would need to make another motion, but at this point, we can vote on this motion. Okay. You want to call roll, please?
Miss Ebony Mitchell?
No.
Mr. Ambrose?
No.
Mr. Roshan?
No.
Cox is a yes. Weaver?
No.
Miss May?
I'm a yes on this, but I understand.
Okay, motion
Yeah.
fails.
I would like to make a motion that we interview A, C, D, E, F, G.
A, C, D, Is there a second for that motion, or do we need a minute to look back?
If you can just repeat that one more time.
A, C, D, E, F, and G.
I second that.
Discussion, I'm sorry, I was trying to catch up. Dave, I'm sorry, Mr. Cox, will you please call roll?
Dr. Weaver?
No.
Cox, no. Ambrose?
No on this one.
Mr. Rochon?
Yes.
Ebony Mitchell?
Yes.
Ms. May?
Yes.
Motion fails.
We need to do some discussion then.
Looking for another motion?
I'd like to make a motion A, B, C, G, and D.
Second.
Thank you.
Dr. Weaver?
Dr. Weaver.
Again, it was A, B, C, D, and G.
A, B, C, and G.
A, B, C, D, and G.
Can you please call roll?
Is there discussion?
Oh, I'm sorry.
I guess at this point, probably not, but
Well,
Discussion?
this discussion I have again is I would like to have at least 6 candidates. Max out, do the 6 candidates, that's all. I would have to.
Please call roll, Mr. Cox.
Ebony Mitchell?
No.
Mr. Ambrose?
Yes.
Mr. Rochon?
No.
Cox is a yes. Dr. Weaver?
No.
Ms. May?
Yes.
Motion fails.
I'd like to make a motion, Madam President,
Uh-huh.
that we interview A, B, C, E, F, G.
A, B, C, E,
F,
F,
and
and
G.
G.
Support.
A second. Did somebody second it?
I did.
He did.
Oh,
Discussion.
okay.
I'm sorry. I'm so busy trying to match the letters.
Yeah.
Discussion.
This gives us the 6 names that we need, and I think it could very well move us in a positive direction.
Anyone else?
Just repeat the letters one more time.
A, B, C, E, F, G. Mr. Cox, will you please call roll?
Mr. Rochon?
Yes.
Ms. Ebony Mitchell?
Yes.
Mr. Ambrose?
Yes.
Dr. Weaver?
Yes.
I am yes. Ms. May?
Yes.
Okay. Motion passes.
All right.
Yep. A, B, C.
A, B, C, E, F, G, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right, so I will go ahead and indicate the individuals that you've selected to interview. A, B, C, E, F, G. Okay. You have selected Alex O'Feely, who is your Assistant Superintendent of Human Resources. Kimberly Leverett, Superintendent of the Pontiac School District. Mashawn Jackson, Deputy Superintendent of Operations for Detroit Public Schools Community District. Peter Kudlak, Superintendent, Van Buren Public Schools.
I'm sorry. Wish you wouldn't have said that. A, B, C, D, F, G.
A, B,
A, B,
C,
C, E, F, G.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry.
That's all, that's okay. I'm glad if you thought I got it wrong that you interjected. Catherine Cost, your current interim superintendent, and Thomas Ahart, who is the former superintendent of Des Moines Public Schools in Iowa. At the end of this meeting, we'll be contacting those individuals and letting them know that they've been selected and getting them onto the interview schedule. And once that is completed, we'll be sending that in to you folks so that you can post that for all to see.
Thank you. Next, we are at item 6, preparation for first round interviews.
Okay, so one is just in terms of logistics. I'm going to make an assumption, you tell me if I'm wrong, that the interviews will be held right here, correct?
Yes.
And you have one of the candidates sit at one of the tables down here, I would presume. Okay. The one thing to keep in mind is you'll need to, as candidates come in, you'll need to, they'll be coming earlier, of course, whenever the interviews are scheduled. They'll be coming before they're ready to start. What we do for the second interviewee each night, first interview will start at 6. It could be up to 90 minutes. We tell the board to go ahead and take about a 10-minute break after the first one. So presumably that would have the second one starting at 7:40, but the interviews don't always take 90 minutes. That's the maximum, right? So in the event that the first one ends earlier, what we ask the second candidates each night to do is come in even earlier and be ready so that whenever the first one ends, hopefully you can take your 10-minute break, come back, and we'll be ready to go right into the next interview. But we'll need to have somebody ready to greet those candidates as they arrive in the building and have a private place for them just to sit and kind of collect their thoughts and kind of be ready when the time comes to start the interview. Districts handle it in a variety of different ways. They sometimes have an administrative assistant fulfill that role. They sometimes have high school students on hand, which is kind of a nice touch to greet the candidates and get them settled. Sheila and I, when it's time for the candidates to interview, will go and get them from wherever you've got them and walk them into the room and ready to get started. So just be mindful that that needs to happen. And I think the only other thing, unless you have questions about that, let me just start there. What questions might you have about kind of just what each night is going to look like beyond what I just described? Any questions for you? We will have, by the way, you're about to pick interview questions, but if you were involved last time, when you come the first night, we're going to have binders for each of you with 6 sets of interview questions, 1 for each of the applicants. Lots of room for you to write notes so that as you make a decision about who to advance from there, you can reflect back on your notes, which will help you make that decision. Also, we're going to remember to give people who are in the audience watching the interviews the opportunity to provide feedback to the board. We suggest, this is kind of morphed over time. It used to be just a hard copy we'd have on hand. People would fill them out. We would collect them, make 7 copies for each of the board members, and we can still do that. But what we've seen more frequently is districts creating a QR code so that people can just scan the code, give their feedback, and then those results can be sent to you electronically. So what are you thinking you might prefer to do on that front?
I'm leaning toward a QR code, but I don't know where others are. Paper, QR code,
QR code.
the QR code.
Okay. All right, so for folks who will be in the audience, they will have that opportunity to provide feedback to the board so that you can consider how they're reacting to what they're hearing as you're making your decision about how to advance from there. Yes?
I just want to circle back what you said before we went into close.
Yeah, sure.
About, because we did vote to interview somebody from out of town.
Yes.
So now we have to take a vote on if we willing to pay for their travel here.
We already made that
We
decision.
did?
Yep.
We don't have to vote on
We
it.
voted?
We don't have
Oh.
to vote on it.
Okay,
Yep, I think we're good there.
okay, thank you.
Sure. So I think, she'll tell me if it's, what am I missing?
You want me to talk about that?
Sure.
Just so no, they will not be live streamed. We don't have the capability for that. So first round interviews, they will be posted the next day. So after, we talked about that.
If you post them the next day, then the questions are available to everyone.
Right, bear that in mind.
We can't do that.
Well, I mean, districts have done it. It's going to be up to you. Just know that the risk that you run if you post them is that the candidates who are coming on the last 2 nights would have the opportunity to see those interviews and know what the questions are, see how others have answered them. Now, what we do, though, too, just know this, is once we've contacted the candidates and let them know they're interviewing, We follow up with a lengthy email that gives them a lot of detail so that they know exactly what to expect. We don't want any surprises. We want them to be well prepared. Part of that is to let them know that they should not in any way, shape, or form be watching or listening in to the interviews that have taken place previously. Frankly, what could happen too, I don't know that I've ever seen a candidate actually show up to somebody else's interview, but you know, if somebody wanted to do so, you could have somebody come on your behalf and listen to the question. So there's always ways if somebody wants to get around it that they can. But there's two things I'll say to that. Again, what we do is tell them, look, you're professionals. The board expects and we expect that you're going to conduct yourself as a professional and you're going to be ethical, and you will not do that. The other part, though, is that candidates will very often, and you can expect this, which might even give the indication that they've listened to the questions, but if they've done their homework, there are interviews that other districts have conducted that they have put out there on YouTube or on their district website that are still out there to see. And candidates will frequently go out there and find those and use those to help prepare. So even with that, right, they're going to hear questions that may be similar to the ones that you're asking here. That's just good preparation, right? So I say all of that just to share with you that I don't look at it as an absolute, you can't possibly post these interviews because somebody could see them. But you have to know that the risk there is that they will be out there, so somebody you're interviewing later could feasibly go and see that.
But then, and with that, we also discussed that for second round, they would be posted with the QR code so that community members could give feedback.
See, second
Are we
rounds-
shifting from that? 'Cause
No. Second round's a little bit different
Okay, talk
because
about that.
there's a gap. With the first round interviews, you're interviewing on 3 straight nights.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're coming back on the 4th night that same week, and you're deciding who you want to advance as finalists. So if you're not posting those interviews until after they're completed, by the time people have a chance to see them, you will have already picked finalists. You really can't get feedback. It's not very beneficial. In the case of the finalists, though, you'll conduct those interviews, and you're not making a selection until I think it's about a week later. So there actually would be time after those interviews to then post them, give people a chance to respond with the QR code. You'll still have time to look at the feedback and consider it before you go ahead and make a final decision among however many finalists you may have, 2 or 3, whatever it is that you decide on. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So it does work out better in terms of timing for second round to be able to do that.
So I'll defer to the board. Do you guys not want to post the first round after?
I would request that you not, so that the questions don't get out. That's my suggestion.
Others?
I feel the same way.
Yeah, to be fair to all the interviewees, not to give anyone a leg up, I know they're supposed to be professional, but that doesn't mean someone in their circle of friends or influence might not.
Okay.
We were just-
No, sounds like we're not posting.
We're just having a side conversation. If you wanted to, you could still post the first round interviews once they're all completed, but the reality is that by the time people would get to them, you will have already selected finalists very likely, right? And so you could do so just to be very transparent if you wanted to, but you really at that point can't get public input because it would be past the point where you could consider it. Totally up to you.
And we've already had public input.
For anybody who wants to be present, at 100%, we would like their input and we'll give them that opportunity.
Well, I'm saying that you conducted meetings for input, did you not?
Oh, at the beginning, yes, we did. We got input from stakeholders, both through a survey and from face-to-face meetings. That was to create that candidate profile primarily. Now they're going to be able to provide input to you from having watched the interviews, heard them for themselves. And they're going to be able, and typically the feedback we ask for are 3 simple questions. What impressed you about this candidate? Do you have reservations about this candidate? And are there kind of outstanding questions that you may still have for this person? Which sometimes that feedback can lead to you selecting some of those questions, even possibly for second round.
So, in just my opinion, I think posting them, if we're in a way, and I think we should post them, because as we go into the second round, it may encourage others to come out. They'll say, oh, okay, I'm interested in hearing more about this candidate, or I want to be present because I want to give feedback on this candidate because this candidate said something that maybe didn't gel with me, right? So I do think that at least gives people will give the community the opportunity to at least, just another way to engage
Okay, sure.
in the process. That's just my opinion. I don't know what others think. And that's to say to post them at the
Well, I
end,
would,
after
I
all
would,
three,
yeah, I would
after the
certainly
3 days.
acquiesce to your
Yeah,
opinion.
it's a double-edged sword that we're walking on with this, trying to be fair to the candidates, but knowing how contentious this has been in the past, allowing public input. I guess my question would be, what kind of public notice are we going to put out, so we can also, knowing that they're going to be a day late with the posting because we don't have live feed capability, to get as many of our constituents in to provide feedback, immediate feedback, instead of waiting until the next day or two, and we're already at that point to make the decision.
Well, no, we weren't. So for first round, the input would have to be immediate. You have to be present to give input. And then the second
So,
round.
and that goes to my first question is, what are we going to do as a district to get the word out? Because we struggled with the questionnaires for the first round of feedback. And so I guess that's probably more a question for Dr. Cost and her team. But I don't want to run into the same situation where we had very limited public input for the first round.
I don't disagree with you. I do think that goes back to our communications and marketing department and getting that information out. So we can, again, I can have that conversation again in regards to that.
Could I
Yes.
ask you, through the chair, to Mr. Silveri, do you have an opinion?
I'm fine with you waiting to post the interviews until, the first round interviews until after they're completed, or frankly, it's up to you. You can post or you cannot. I'll really make things confusing, give you a third option, because you'll have 2 to 3 people still in the mix after the first round. Another option would be, in case there's interest there and people would like to see what they said the first time, and then have a chance to see them the second time, you could also just post the interviews from the finalists afterward.
So just the ones that we selected to
Yep.
move forward.
Yep, so that way then, what you're basically saying is that, all right, these people are still in the mix, they're advancing as finalists, we're gonna continue to consider them. Here are their first round interviews, and here's when the second round interviews will take place.
So again, I'm deferring to the board. What would you guys like?
I like that option. Because instead of, we already made the decision, so instead of them choosing questions from all 6 candidates, but then, they might have had some valid questions that we might want to look into for one of the candidates that we already eliminated. So but having the 2 final candidates and getting the interview questions from the community, I think is the best effort.
Well, you won't get feedback from what you're showing. The only feedback you'll get in the first round, let me try to say this really clearly. The
Oh,
feedback you
okay.
get in the first round is from people who are present.
Okay,
That's it.
okay.
Because by the time you post those interviews, it'll be after the fact, and the input really won't benefit you at that point. But then people will get a second crack at it. They'll be able to see how the finalist interviewed the first time if you choose to do it that way. And then they're welcome to come back and be part of the second round interviews and provide you additional feedback. And remember, for the second round, we have an additional opportunity for people within various stakeholder groups to come and submit questions to ask the candidates directly. So there'll be a lot of opportunity for public input. There is a lot of opportunity.
talk a little bit more about when you said that the public will have the opportunity to ask questions of the candidate that will come through the QR code? Is that how that will go?
Nope. Remember, in the second round, the candidates come for a good chunk of the day prior to interviewing with the board.
Oh, yes, yes, yes.
We
Got it.
provide opportunities for people who are part of various stakeholder groups, like we did at the beginning when we got feedback on the candidate profile. So we'll put an invitation out. If they'd like to be present, they can have the candidate here. They'll be able to submit questions that we'll ask of the candidate, hear the responses, give additional feedback to the board, and they can still then come to the second round interview with you and provide additional feedback based on what they heard in that interview. So a lot of opportunities for people to let you know what they think.
Awesome. So are we good with going with option 3 in terms of posting at the end of the first round, the interviews of the 2 finalists? Yes? Yes? Okay.
Okay.
So to confirm, we're only posting the people you are moving forward to second interviews.
After the end of the first round, yeah, okay.
Okay. All right, so I think that covers all of the logistics. We're going to pick interview questions.
Yes, that's next on our agenda.
Yep. And you saw them in advance. You have them in your binder under tab 4. It's the first 2 pages. They're back to back, but the first 2 pages contain the sample first round interview questions. And remember, the goal is to pick 3 from each category. And we're just going to refer to them by category and number and not read the content of the questions out loud. So, first grouping is the opening questions, which we have the board president typically ask, but we want to ask 3 of those 4. Maybe it's easier process of elimination rather than naming 3 you want to ask. Is there one that you feel like you could live without?
So we're gonna do this by, like, opening question, then the next one? And you wanna-
Just by group. I mean, this is just open discussion, and anybody can speak up and others can chime in. If any one of you even right now says, man, I think of these 4 questions, question 3 is the weakest, right? Just throw that out and get discussion going, and we'll see where the consensus ends up taking us.
I chose 1, 3, and 4 for opening.
I had the same ones. Others?
That's good.
1, 3,
Yeah,
and
I'm
4?
fine with 1, 3, and 4.
1, 3, and
You do
4. I
1,
see
3, and
heads
4?
nodding. No
1,
objection.
3, and 4.
1, 3, 4. Got you. All right. Second group, district
have-
relations, 5 questions. We want to keep 3.
I have 2, 3, and 5. Can we make suggestions, though, to the questions, like to add or to enhance or
Oh, to-
modify a question?
I don't want to do it now
Now,
out
but
loud,
I'm asking, can
but
we-
we've got plenty of time, so if you
Okay.
want to follow up with those suggestions, yes, you certainly can. You can send those suggestions directly to me.
All right.
I
Well, I
would
had
say,
2, 3, and 5.
I'm sorry, I have 3, 4, and 5.
I have 1, 4, and 5.
Well, 4 and 5 sound popular,
Yeah, I agree with 4 and 5.
so why don't we kind of latch on to 4 and 5, and we need one of the other 3.
Anyone else?
1.
Yeah, 1 for me.
I'm okay with that.
We're okay with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, 1, 4, and 5 from that grouping. Political awareness, 5 questions. We
I had
want-
2 and 3.
Anyone else?
Taking out 2 or 3?
No, I have 2 and 3.
2 and 3
Mhm.
under that grouping.
2, 3, and 4.
Anyone else? Okay.
2, 3, and 4?
Yeah,
Okay. Leadership attributes,
I
5
had 2
questions.
and 5.
I have 2, 4, and 5.
2, 4, and 5, I have that as well.
yeah,
4
same
and
here.
5.
2, 4, and 5 are sounding popular.
Yep.
2, 4, 5.
I can live with that, so.
Thank you, Fred. Curriculum and instruction,
I had 1, 2, and 5.
I have 1 and 5, so I can live with 2.
1, 4, and 5.
So I'm hearing 1 and 5 repeatedly.
I got 2. I can do 2.
I had 1, 3, and 5, but I can live with 4 and 5.
Yes? 1, 4, 5? Okay. Finances?
1, 2, 5.
I have 1, 2, and 4.
I have 1 and 5.
1, 4, 5.
I can live with it.
1, 4, and 5?
Yeah.
We're good with that. Okay. And staff and personnel?
1 and 2.
I have 1 and 5.
I have 1, 4, and 5.
I have 1, 4, and 5 as well.
1, 4, 5, yes. Okay.
1, 4, 5.
Okay. As I said, we will type those up for you. You don't have to do anything with them. We'll have them here for you when you are here on the 16th for the first night of interviews. You should be all set. Do you have any other questions in terms of what to expect
Madam President.
for the first round?
Mr. Cox?
There's a question that I would like to have asked, and I'm confident that my colleagues on the board would also want to hear the answer to the question. Obviously, I don't want to voice it now, but it's not contained in your outline. Can I, through the chair, get it to you?
At
or-
100%.
All right.
That's the way to do it, too. We had agreed before. The communication will go through the board president, so that would be the way to go.
Okay,
Yes.
all right.
In times past, didn't we save our questions over and above for the very last? Didn't
that-
we?
I think in the past that's happened that way.
Yeah.
In the second,
Second round.
real briefly, we'll tell you, in the second round, you're going to have a lot of latitude. We provided you with another bank of questions. You're going to very likely get suggestions from people who are here and listening to the interviews. You can go to the candidate profile and say, boy, I don't know if we heard enough about this yet. Let's ask a question around this. So, and what I typically do is ask for each board member to submit 3 to 5 questions that you might like to ask, and we'll pick 2 from those. You're gonna ask 2 of those questions. So we do make sure to pick a couple. And remember, we differentiate. When you get to the finalist round, you can ask questions specific to each finalist as well, as long as we're equitable. If you ask one specific question of one finalist, you do the same for the other. If it's 2, it's 2 and 2. So you have a lot more opportunity in the second round, really, to.
My question can wait for the second round.
Okay, all right. Great. Okay, any other questions at all? I appreciate all of this. It's draining. This is very intense, but I appreciate your hard work this evening. Any other questions at all?
I don't see anyone with any other questions.
Oh, Sheila's, a good reminder, just so that everybody knows too. Remember that the questions will be in front of you, but each of you will be assigned one of these categories, and you'll ask the 3 questions from the category, and it's exactly the same for every candidate, the same order, the same person asking the questions will follow the script. Okay?
Sounds
Thank
good.
you, Sheila.
All right, thank you. So, next on our agenda, citizens' comments, agenda and non-agenda items. Do we have any? I see
We
Mr. Cox
have
has one.
Ms. Ann Heineke on a non-agenda, is asked to speak.
There she is.
Hi, I am Ann Heineke, and I'm a parapro with the Adult Transition Program. While attending the school board meetings, I've heard lots of talk dealing with sports in both high schools. However, I have not heard any mention of our unified sports basketball program, which is in full swing. The season started on January 20th. The teams have played 6 games, 1 being forfeited by the other team, and they are undefeated. This Wednesday, March 4th, at 4 p.m. in the Wayne Memorial Alumni Building, Our team will be playing in the KLAA crossover game against Howell High School. I believe this is the championship game, but I'm not positive. It is. After Wednesday, they will have one final game on March 12th, which will be played at Little Caesars Arena in Detroit against Birmingham Seaholm. We would love to go to that, but you have to buy a Pistons ticket, so we're not going to be able to go. The team will, but spectators won't. Our unified team is made up of students with disabilities from Wayne Memorial, John Glenn, and the Adult Transition Program, along with partner students from our 2 high schools. These students have regular weekly practices and play hard in their games. It would be amazing if you could find time in your schedule to come to the game this Wednesday and cheer them on. Thank you for your time, and go Unified. Thank you.
Thank you.
What time is that game in?
4 o'clock
Thank you.
at Wayne Memorial.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments? All right, we are now at section 8, review and recommendations, Board of Education. I will start with Dr. Weaver.
Thank you, Madam President. As I've been thinking about this process, I want a superintendent who will first and foremost stay. Certainly works well and listens to the board, able to make strong decisions in defense of the district, that works well with staff. Now, we have a community, and I don't want to be misunderstood, but we have a community that lapses into oblivion when everything's going well. And when things start going bad, the boardroom is full and everybody's griping, having a, whoever is selected, my main focus is how they deal with staff. And I just wanted to say that, so thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Roshan?
I didn't have anything in particular I want to discuss, but one thing I do want to share is during this process, I want to make sure that the community has a voice. I want to make sure that it's on the record that we reach out to our parent advisory committee and make sure they're there during this process, that we're getting feedback from our students, from our parents, from our whole community, because we're making a decision on behalf of the community. And that's what I just want to put on the record, that we do that. I actually want to thank you guys for a great job in facilitating this process. And we had some extremely well-qualified candidates, and it was a hard decision, but we thank you for the hard work you guys have done.
Thank you. Mr. Ambrose?
I want to thank John, you and your team, for all the hard work you've put in. I was impressed with a lot of the candidates that applied, and the research that your team put in on a lot of these candidates. It's going to be a difficult decision, and I really think it's important that as we go through this process over the next few weeks, that we have community involvement in helping us. I don't want the public to think that this is being done behind closed curtains. I want them here. I want them giving us feedback. That's the only way we're going to know if we actually pick the right candidates to interview, is through their feedback and what they're looking forward 4 from a candidate also. So,
Thank you. Mrs. Abney Mitchell?
Yes, I'd like to thank Michigan Leadership Institution. The way that y'all gave us the information about the candidates, it was like a book. Y'all knew cover to cover just what from y'all interview questions with them, and I appreciate that. As a board member, this is my first time going through this process on the board, and the amount of candidates that we had, I say that says something about the district and our community, that people wants to come here and work, wants to come here and lead. So that says something about the district, and I just want all of us to trust the process, to support each other. I want the board to support the community, the students. I want y'all to come out, join us. We don't have all the answers, but most important, I want the board to be able to work together. You know, no, we're not gonna all agree, but we have to trust each other. We have to trust our students, our community. We have to trust our consultants that we hired. So some nights during the interviews, we not gonna go home happy. But we gonna come back for the next interview and say, hey, I wasn't happy last night with the answers, so you gonna make me happy today. So we just gotta work together, and I appreciate everybody. And we're gonna get through this, and we're gonna have a great superintendent to carry our district through. We got some wonderful candidates. They did a great job. The best of the best. So thank you, I appreciate y'all.
Thank you. Mr. Cox?
Thank you, Madam President. I'd just like to say thank you to Dr. Weaver for leading us in the pledge. You did a good job, had a lot of experience. Tonight, I think the very first decision that the board had to make in order to have a successful superintendent hire is choosing the right person, firm, to guide us through the process. And as you know, I was very strong on Michigan Leadership Institute and Mr. Silveri, having gone through this before and seeing the detail and that comes from them. I don't know what others would have provided, but I can't imagine I would have needed anything else at this juncture. And certainly so much work has been done by the community. Can't see it right now, but we know that you've done a tremendous amount of work, and it's greatly appreciated. With respect to who we choose, it took 6 different times just to choose the candidates that we would interview. So there can't be anybody feeling that it's all in on a particular person. And the other thing is, the last time we chose an interim superintendent, this board was just inundated with employee requests for what we should do. And I'm just gonna say for the public record, I don't think it helped anybody. I think that was something that the Board of Education was put off about, because we have a decision to make, and it's a tremendous responsibility. And we're looking for the community, not just people who are getting checks from the school district. At least that's what I'm looking for. So I would ask, the community's been asked and invited many times to be involved in this process. Please allow it to continue. We're going to do it as professionally and respectfully as we can. But I don't see bullying and full court presses as being the way to a successful solution. Not with this board anyway. That's all I have. Thank you very much, John. Appreciate it.
Thank you. So my comments are echoing my colleagues in terms of thank you to both John and Sheila. Appreciate your hard work. Just again, this process has been smooth. Thank you for always being available to take my questions, any things that kind of bubbled up. I do appreciate that, and just the thought partnering through this process to ensure that we have transparency as well as the involvement of our community, as my colleagues have spoken so highly of. One of the things that I do want to lift as we talk about the community and having community input and engagement, I really would like to encourage parents and our high school students to come out. And when I say parents, bring out your middle schoolers, bring out your little ones. You know, so often we can be dismissive of the little ones, but I'm telling you, out of the mouths of babes, a lot of wisdom comes forward. So I would really love to see some children as a part of this process, being present with their parents and giving feedback to their parents so that they can kind of help them out with that QR code. The other piece of it is, again, I just want to say thank you to my board colleagues. I know we've started this process. It has been a lot of work, and we're not done with the work, and I know we're pretty much giving up the month of March. So I'm gonna say thank you guys for doing that, and I'm saying thank you on behalf of the district and our kids, because that's who we do this work for every time. So with that being said, I will take, yes, sir.
Are we going to be going into the study session to scrub our books?
No,
You were
he's
gonna
already-
remove persons from,
We can do that right
okay.
Yeah,
all
so
right.
I said, we said we can, yep. Anyone else? So that's a reminder, scrub your books. So with that being said, I will entertain a motion for
Move
an
adjournment.
adjournment.
Support.
Support?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.